Morning, morning. Are we up and running? Sunny, sunny, sunny day in Tokyo today. Beautiful, bright, sunny day. Totally impossible to put the camera the other way around. You can see by the angle of the shadows there, the sun is actually shining right into our entranceway. And if I put the camera on the left, facing right, it's just bright sunshine pouring directly into the camera. Morning, morning. No floater, no, too much sunshine. Maybe once the sun's gone around the corner, 15, 20 minutes from now maybe, we'll be floating, who knows. Or coming in for a landing. Okay, the audio. I've turned off those filters I used last stream. I listened after it was over at lunchtime. I put my headphones on and listened to that, and I couldn't bear it. I'm sorry. I apologize for doing that last time. What can I say? What can I say? Sorry about that. The blue mic, is it still there? I don't remember. I'm sorry. Okay, today's plan. We're going to finish this block off today, but before I do, I've had an emergency. I've had a call from the printers upstairs, Ishikawa-san. She wants me to fix one of the blocks for the job she's doing right now. Fix as in do a touch-up job. And it's this block. You know what this is for. And it needs a bit of touching up already. Sugu-san did the previous batch of prints from this, and she found that some of the lines, the inside lines, were still a bit too fat. When she tried to print it nice, good, rich black, the inside line just expanded a bit. So I've got to trim some of these down here today. And that's going to be absolutely microscope work. Yeah, the high frequency noise, there is the fan. The fan is still running. I tried putting the mic on my shoulder away from the fan, but I kept banging into it. So until I get a higher powered computer, which doesn't have a fan noise, but that noise gate thing, sorry, I apologize for that. Paper is out. They're both up there already. Ishikawa-san is working on number 4 this year's series, and Sugu-san, she's not working on number 4 because they've got the same blocks. So she's doing test printing today on the next in the Neko Hake series. She's doing the first test printing on Evening Glow. She's doing that all day today, and no way am I going to show it to you, but no, the computer I want isn't for sale yet, John. It's the next iteration of this, the 15-inch MacBook Pro, the next generation. It's not for sale yet. No way, wink. No, really, I'm not. I know, for a couple of reasons. We're doing this one a little bit differently. The third print in the 8 Views of Cat series is Evening Glow, and it's kind of a Shinhanga print, kind of riffing on some of the old Toshi Yoshida prints, like Shinjuku and stuff like that. And when they made those prints, they did not do it the ukiyo-e style. Do an outline, carve the outline, print it, decide the color separations, carve all the color blocks, send to production. That's not how they did it. They did an outline and a couple of base blocks first. A background block, some tones for buildings, this and that, sky block. Get the fundamentals in. And then based on what they found from test printing that, they went back and added more blocks to add more depth. And that's the approach we're going to be taking on this. So the thing she's going to make today is the first generation. And based on what we find there, we're going to carve more blocks. And it's going to be a touch and go process, and we may, be going back and forth and throwing something away and trying more. So I don't know. No way could I do this job without this microscope. Absolutely no way. Show and tell. There's going to be a show and tell today, and it's going to be a deja vu show and tell. A deja vu show and tell. And just to say what I mean, do you remember? We're going to go back in time. Do you remember the package 2 weeks ago with the green pull-off tape? That's today's show and tell. Deja vu, deja vu, deja vu. Did declining classical music work? Why do I not remember this? Zoom, please. Okay, yeah. Okay. Zoom, please. Height. Classical music. Do I remember that? No. It's high spots, and I'm not going to cut the whole thing thinner. Most of them are pretty thin already, but there's a few places where I left high spots. And the high spots here meant the channel gets narrower in some places. And that's the places where Suga-san, when she did the first batch of these, right here, look, I don't know if you can see it or not. I guess not, if I turn the angle. I don't know, it's just not going to show. There's a place where this inside line does a waver. And when it wavers this way, the channel becomes a bit too narrow, and it was really easy for paste to get caught in there. So the two of them ganged up on me, and they asked me yesterday, please carve out those high spots. And then later this afternoon, I think Ishikawa-san is going to do a test print of her run of these. I can't say test print, the prints have been published, but she's going to do her own testing to try these. She's a bit worried about it. She's worried about getting these borders nice. Oh, there's one I can see this. There's junk in the bottom of the groove there. Looks like chocolate suck. Yeah, I've been in Ome the last couple of days. I was out in Ome. Nice. I went out there, I was going to go Monday night, but it was pouring rain, so I waited here. I went out Tuesday morning. And spent a nice couple of days out there. And on Tuesday, mostly working with the staff, and a couple of things going on. There's tons and tons of shipping, of course. Our sales are just so far up. There's tons of shipping. I spent time with a new staff member, Sakamoto-san. Looked at one of the printers, printing machines, LinkJet printers, trying to fix that. Didn't get much done on it. Hoshibori-ban. Is this the guy that leaves the engine running? There's two different drivers. One of them leaves the engine running. Sounds like this is our guy. So let's put the outside mic off for a few minutes. Outside mic going down. Then I don't know, on a Wednesday morning, and I took a break. I went up into the mountains behind the house, the pathways where I used to walk and go camping. And I found the place, the same place where, if you know the My Solitude series, my website for that set of prints, there's a photograph on the front cover of that, and I went back to the same place and took a nap. So I'll show you the link. The photograph is here. It's you can still hear the sound because it comes into my microphone as well, but at least the outside mic is now off for a minute. There's three mics running here, two mics running here. The photograph on the front of that section, that's where I was yesterday. It's in the mountains, woods. It's in the woods, about 20 minutes behind my house in Ome. What's that guy doing? He's sitting in the truck and he hasn't opened the back door. Yay! Outside mic, back up. And right by the place there, where I put the tent there, none of that is public property. It's all private property. The whole range, the mountains behind my house, everything is owned. You're allowed to walk along the footpaths there. There's footpaths through the whole place, and the footpaths are mostly on the borders of land. And on the left, there'll be one landowner. On the right, some other landowner, and they'll cut their trees at different times. So walking along, there's a real variation in the kind of trees and stuff you see. And right on the place where that picture is taken, you can't see it in the picture, but off to the left-hand side, it's a guy who has abandoned his mountain. And off on the right-hand side, it's a guy who is still taking care of it. And the abandoned side is so cool. The one taking care of it is just sugi, just pine trees, cedar trees. And it's Death Valley. The needles fall, it's acidic, there's no animals, no bushes, no plants underneath, nothing. But the one where the guy has abandoned it and they're not taking care of it, it's just run riot. And it's so nice in there. Oh, this one's thick. Look at this. I can see she must have had trouble with these. Sugi-san must have struggled with some of these things. Maybe in the future someone's going to look at these. And we sold a batch of these prints already. About 80 sets have gone out of here already of these yokai prints. And now I'm recarving the block a little bit. So the next batch they'll be discernibly different. So first edition, second edition. Does anybody care? No. But there's no way I'd be able to do this without the scope. Absolutely, I can't possibly see this. You guys can't even see what's going on. I'm sure just a little bit of white line appears where I've carved it off. Sorry about this. I'm not going to spend the whole morning on this. This is going to be about the next 5 or 10 minutes just to trim these, and then I'll switch back to the normal work. John's asking, cab or whatever. I cab to the workshop. I come out of the train, grab some food from one of the shops there, then grab a cab. But coming back, I almost always walk. John knows it. I guess he's been over there at least once, a few times. I don't remember. I don't know. There were groups of buses that went halfway from the station over there, but they're gone now. The population has decreased so much that the bus companies can't afford to keep running. So it's a problem. There's a bunch of isolated now. A bunch of older people out there who don't drive, and they're totally isolated. If you don't drive and you can't walk the 20 minutes to the station, that's it. You're done. 20 minutes for me. There's people who live farther away. This one's really thick. This was bad. I should have done this the first time around. Yesterday, when I was sitting there in the forest for a while, I was remembering a book that I read many, many, many years ago. I should have found a reference to it. If somebody can Google this. If you Google it, there's a guy called John Collis, C-O-L-L-I-S, John Collis. He's an English writer. He was born before the Second World War, and he had an experience during the Second War. I guess he was too old to be actually fighting or something, so he was assigned to agricultural work in Britain during the war. And his particular job was, he was given 18 acres of a woodland that had been not taken care of for a long, long, long time. And his job was, with an axe and some other hand tools, to take that 18 acres of overgrown, infested, quote-unquote, useless woodland, useless in terms of being productive to get wood out of. And his job was to clean it up. So he spent, must have been a year or so, I guess, a year, maybe a year and a half, with those hand tools, attacking this overgrown jungle woodland. And he was a kind of a thoughtful guy and a literary guy, and at the end of it, he wrote a really, really interesting book about the experience. I don't remember the name of it, I'm sorry, but if you Google it, John Collis, and it might be called The Wood or something like that, I don't know. And he's, of course, long, long, long gone now. But as I sat there in the forest yesterday and looking at the two different sides of this, the one that's taken care of but which is nothing, and the one that's not taken care of that's full of life, but you can't get in there. You can't walk in there because it's so full of vines and crap and whatever. And I remembered Collis's book, and I thought, wouldn't that be cool to get some tools and to get the property rights to one of these areas up here, get some tools and have a go at this, get outside and it's like I don't have anything else to do, but there it is right behind my house. 5-10 minutes walk from my house. someone got a link? Someone certainly got a link. No, no link yet. I guess harder to find then, sorry. Well, that's actually, John, it's funny you talk about the Yamazakura too, because when I was walking around there yesterday, I went up into the woods, stayed at that place, took a nap up there, then walked around for about 2 hours. And there's different places, and you get to a place now and then where the mountain, these are not Alps mountains, these are hills. Eh? You get to a different place where the hills break and you can see the hills across. And this week, it's the cherries. You can see there's a green, 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 there's one cherry in it, green, 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 over there's one cherry. And this is how they spotted those things. Of course, you go up walking through the woods in early spring, and that's how you locate your cherry trees. You know, in the old days, the wood hunters who were looking for them to buy them from landowners, you know. It's okay. This trimming, you know, there's a special aspect to this. I'm trimming the outside of these lines. Let me describe this. There's a color block later that will print the inside box here. Then there's 2 lines, and between the 2 lines it's white paper. Now the color block is already carved for inside this. So if I'm going to thin down this line, if I thinned it from the inside and cut back that way, then it would be cut back away from the color block and it might leave a gap there. So absolutely, to thin down these lines, I have to carve from the outside, absolutely from the outside. I lost track of where I was. Which way around was I now? Oh yeah, this way. Hey. Oh, somebody's got it. English Journeys the Wood. Okay, thank you. Are Yamazakura tall? They're whatever. They're cherry trees. I don't know. Cherry trees and cherry trees. The kind of cherries that are most commonly found in Japan, the ones that are called Somei Yoshino. They're the ones in all the parks, Ueno Park and stuff like this. And unfortunately for us, the wood of those has a really porous pattern, and it's not suitable for woodblock printmaking. And actually that plant, Somei Yoshino, I think didn't even exist in the old days. It's a modern variety that has been engineered by people. And there are now many, many, many varieties of cherry in Japan. I know, right near here, on about 5 minutes walk east of here, across the river, there's a Sumida Park. Sumida City is the city next to us here. And in Sumida Park along the river, they have planted, or they have arranged to have planted, I saw it the other day, 44 different types of cherry tree. And this is years and years and years ago. These are all full mature trees now. And they've got a map. You can get the map from the city office, and it's up in the park there. And it's got where all of them are marked. And so you can check out 44 different kinds of cherry trees. And the map that's in the park on the signboard has a guide to when they're all flowering. And some of them are really early and some are really late. And Yamazakura flowers late after almost all the other cherries are done. And the Yamazakura doesn't flower until the leaves are out. So for the Yamazakura, the one we need, it's a combination. You get leaves and blossoms at the same time. So it's a green and white affair. Yeah, this next weekend, if the weather's good, this next weekend in Tokyo, this is it. There will be stupendous crowds everywhere. They're not allowed to do the parties with the sheets under the trees, but there'll be tons of people out there walking and watching and taking selfies. And cut that a bit too thin. Oops, 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 oops. Shh. Almost a fat one. Okay, we're getting through this bit by bit by bit. Oh, we do have a floater. Look at this. We have a floater. Nice, nice. Somebody noticed it. As soon as the cloud comes over the sun, we'll get a floater. I see in the street people still understand what the floater is. Let's pop this up for a second. We have we have a very nice floater today. So the parties, it's going to be interesting. I feel bad for the park staff. You know, the government has put down the official line, no Hanami parties. So park staff all around the place, they've put up like, caution tape and netting and fencing and this and that to try and keep people from sitting under the trees. But I know exactly what's going to happen. You know, there's going to be lots of people who go out there and just, park anywhere. Walking along the other day, the riverbank here, there's lots of cherries here, and in a normal Hanami season, this area too, in Asakusa, is a common party location, And before the shutdown came, the park staff was preparing for this, and there's a couple of trailers. I'm not sure the word trailer. It's a unit that they bring in, towing it behind a little truck, and then they leave it sitting in the middle of the park. And it's sort of a little room. It's on a little room with four wheels, so they can drag it around. And how big is it? It's about the size of a Japanese small room. It's trailer width and about double that length. And these are portable smoking rooms. The deal in most cities here in Tokyo now, you're not allowed to smoke while you're walking outside. There's a bylaw about this. The police don't do anything about it, of course, but the technical law is no smoking while walking. You can still smoke in most restaurants, but you can't smoke outside. So because of this, and when they were getting ready for the parties, they've made and pulled in these smoking rooms. And it's bizarre. There's a little tiny room, maybe like 10 feet wide and 20 feet long, and they've prepared ashtrays or something inside it, I don't know, and a door at one end. And if you're out at your Hanami party and you feel like a smoke, you jump in one of these rooms, and my God, it must be awful in there. So they're dotted around the park right now near where we are here. But because there's officially no Hanami parties allowed, I don't know what they're going to do. They've left them sitting there, I mean, what could be worse for a virus transmission? Go and spend X minutes inside a 10 by 20 trailer, puffing air, whatever. Please keep your masks on. This is a strange country. That one's already done. Have we done these now? Can I move on? I think maybe we're done. I think so. Okay. Ready for Shikao-san. Okay. On with the normal work. Pick up where we left off. I had finished hammering around this block, and there is some clearing work still to do up at the top end of it. And then we've got to go around the outside. So let's find a place. Let's find a suitable zoom. I'll be working here. Okay. The no smoking thing in the restaurants here is improving very, very much. I know at the moment, because I'm not going to restaurants, I can't take advantage of this. But there was a legal push on here in the run-up to the Olympics, when the Olympics were 2020. And in the run-up to that, the government was trying to do what they could about changing restaurants to be non-smoking. There was massive, massive pushback, and it never really got through. There were some legislations passed. I forget the details of it, but there has been some legislation to try and encourage restaurants to go this way. And a large number of restaurants have now indeed changed over. So it is much better here in Tokyo. It's still not the level it is in a place like Canada, or I don't really know many places, but smoking in restaurants here is improving step by step. I say it doesn't help me yet because I don't go to restaurants until I've got my vaccine and everybody else and whatever, but it is improving. This is still difficult. This was the hard knot. There was a hard place here. So all these areas around this, the wood is brittle, it chips a lot, and it's hard, so you tend to sort of get like this. So this is not the no fun part. This is difficult here. Keep it in small chunks. There's the reminder sound. Did I put my cans and bottles out? And yes, I did. I did it last night. Have I had a vaccination yet? No, I'm not even close to it. I'm in group 2. Group 1 is the medical personnel. And I saw in the newspaper 2 days ago, they're now up to 200,000 people. They have vaccinated. Japan has vaccinated 200,000 people in total, all medical personnel. Crazy. The country is so efficient. So I'm in the second group. Second group means everybody over 65. And that's 33 million people. So there's 33 million people in my group. And they will start, who knows, once the medical people are finished, my group starts. So at the current rate, I think we worked it out today, at the current rate, I will be vaccinated 8.5 years from now, if I live so long. Japan, funny country, totally funny country. And then, of course, what's going to compound that is the Europeans and Americans, people making the vaccines. We don't make any here in Japan, this kind of stuff. So the people making them are, of course, starting to shut down their shipments. They're keeping them for themselves in Europe and America. So my chance for a vaccine is getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and floating farther and farther into the future. It would be faster for me to go to medical school, become a doctor, and get a vaccine as a doctor. Because of COVID, there are less people in the shop. You're talking about my shop, we are closed. Our shop has been closed for more than 1 year. More than a year. We closed March 17th, and we are thinking maybe about halfway. I can't say, just whatever. I have no idea when it'll be open. No idea. No idea. Just, we don't even think about it anymore. Our business now is online. Picky, no fun this part. Anyway, we're out of there now. That part's done. We're on the peonies. Let's get back outside here. something else. Today's Saturday, so no, today's not Saturday. Today's Thursday, so Taran-san. Is Taran-san here today? Taran, if you're here, must be school holiday to show. If Taran is here, after I'm finished, give me a phone call. Give me a call after we're finished. There's something I want to chat with you about, but I can't do it on stream. Not today, no, okay, hi. He sent a block last week. We asked him to do another job for us. He did, a while back, he did our New Year's card for us this year. Turned out really well. Thousands and millions of copies out there now. And after that was over, we asked him to do another job for us. He's doing the carving for the share certificate this year. And that has to start printing real soon now. That's supposed to go out in April or May, I can't remember. The anniversary of the Patreon campaign starting. So that's got to go out soon. So anyway, he carved it for us. But there's something with it I want to chat with him about, but I can't do it on stream. So. Final corner here. Did they find a knife manufacturer? The knife project. I'm not sure what to say about the knife project. It is coming. I know it's coming along. We received the other day another box of handles. We're having all these components. We're not trying to make all these parts ourselves. We're having all the components. And we received earlier this week, another batch of handles. Another batch. The first batch has been whatever. And I don't know. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. It's coming along, but the variability issues are just so, I don't know. We're trying to place the orders for these things to a reasonable tolerance. You got these knives. There's a sleeve that comes off. The knife opens up, the handle opens up, and the blade is inside. So the blades are being made by one place, no problem, by hand. This is not an Apple factory that's slapping stuff out to nanometer precision. These are made by a guy hammering, bang, 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 groups, and then hammering in groups, and then slicing, and then sharpening, and whatever. So there's, how thick is this one? How thick is the next one? How wide is this one? How wide is the next one? And then the guy making the handles is, of course, not whittling wood one by one. He's got some blocks of wood, some jigs, some routers. We sent him specifications to 0.1 millimeter. So they're coming back pretty consistent because that's, made in a completely mechanical process. But the blades are not. And we knew this, so we're figuring out how to work on it. We asked the tolerance. We asked him, what kind of tolerance can you make the width of these blades? And he said, yeah, 1 blah, blah, 0.1 and blah, blah, blah. But they're not coming back anywhere near within the tolerance that they said they could do for us. So what do? We got these pile of blades and a pile of handles, and we got to match them up, and it should be just click, click, wrap, go, click, click, wrap, go, and away you go. But they're not. One by one, fiddle, fiddle, scrape, scrape, shim, shim. And the next thing you look at the clock, and 2 hours have gone by, and you've done a knife. That's not how this is going to work, obviously, For an object that's going to sell for, maybe $10, you cannot spend 2 hours fiddling with it. So the tolerances, this is the deal, the tolerances, And for Dave, when he gets a knife, it doesn't matter. Because the first thing I'm going to do is take it apart and fit it to my own, thing anyway. But the knives we were trying to sell are in a box, sharpened, pick it up, there's your piece of wood, cut. I mean, of course, that's the way. So we're still struggling. We're wrestling with these things, It's still a plan to do it. We haven't given up. We want to make these knives. The steel is nice. The steel is nice. If I've taken from these samples and put them in here and tried this, and it's cool. It cuts well. It sharpens well. But how much I guess the end-all question is the balance between a totally finished commercial product or something that we're going to sell to somebody where they're going to need some maintenance and work to do it by themselves. I don't know. We wanted to have a completely finished product that looked beautiful, that was better than anything else on the market. I mean, we're already there. We're already at that point because everything else is, my God, it's crap. But that's not how you can't say, well, you stuff it because it doesn't matter. It's better than the other stuff. That's not the way to sell something. It's got to be a product that we feel proud of. And we're struggling. We're still struggling. I'm sorry. And all of this is sort of happening in our spare time. Aoyama-san spent most of last week making blocks. And making pension payments. Don't want to talk about that one. Hey, how's our time? We okay? Yeah, no problem. Halfway through. So it looks like we're okay. I'll be working this blog. The last 15 minutes will be a show and tell, a deja vu show and tell. And actually, for today's show and tell, I'm going to break one of my rules. Actually, we have a sort of an unwritten rule here with the show and tell, and today that's going to get broken. I know. The rule is we don't use the show and tell to promote stuff that's for sale here. Most of the things I show you when I'm looking at the prints in the show and tell, they're just stuff from my collection. We're not selling it. So the show and tell is not a QVC. We're not a shopping channel. But the print I got today, the print we're going to open today, will probably, if it turns out to be in good condition or something, it's going to go probably in the shop. So at some point when we have a shop. I can't catch all this now, I'm sorry. So, the shipping. So, we talked about shipping before. Shipping rates from Asia to North America. These are post office rates. The post office has arranged new rates that all come into play on April 1st. So many websites and many shops and whatever who are shipping from Asia, this is Japan and Korea and China and I don't know how far down it goes, shipping to the U.S. What the situation up to now has been, they've had 3 zones. Here in Japan anyway, there's been 3 zones for calculating postage overseas. Zone 1 has been Asia, which meant Korea, China, Hong Kong, whatever. Zone 2 was North America and Europe, and maybe the Middle East. I don't remember exactly the details, whatever, Russia. And Zone 3 was South America, Africa, some of the difficult countries, India, I think, or something like this. I don't remember the breakdown. There have been 3 zones. Starting April 1st, there are going to be 4 zones. US of A is now Zone 4, all by itself, because the postal people in America did their negotiations with the international postal people, and they really came on, and rates now to the US have skyrocketed. So before, the rate for US and Canada was the same. Now the rates for the US are something like double what they are for Canada, because of the US negotiators. They wanted a bigger piece of the postage rates. You know, the money for postage is shared among countries. You know, you can see how it works. When country A, you go to the post office, you buy a stamp in country A, and the delivery is happening in country B. But your money goes to country A's post office. They put it in the plane, send it over there. Country B delivers it, but they didn't get paid for it. And so there's a deal back and forth. Country B, people go to the post office, ship to country A, so they do the deal. We send you 25 kilograms, you send us 25 kilograms, or whatever. I don't know the details of how it works, but it works this way. And if the imbalance is there, country A's post office makes a top-up payment to country B's post office. So they have all these deals and negotiations. It's been going on since the 1800s. This is nothing new. But the current deal is that the Americans want a bigger piece of all that, and maybe justifiably, maybe they're losing money. I don't know anything about their system. But April 1st, postage rates to America are going up. Does that mean you should go to our shopping cart now? No, don't. Because what I did, and you may think this was not such a cool thing to do, what I did when we learned about this late last year, myself and Aoyama-san and Cameron, we rebuilt our software so that it would handle 4 zones. And we implemented this at the end of last year, the beginning of this year. The idea of having 4 zones. So if you've been to our shopping cart recently, you already know that this America is split out from the other zones, and we actually implemented step by step by step the postage rates. So they're already built into our cart. So there is no need whatsoever to think Dave's postage rates are going up on April 1st. There will be no visible change. We had to do this because the subscriptions start in January and run for a year. And we couldn't start people off with a subscription and tell them, oh, by the way, this is April, we're going to double your postage price. Partway along. We couldn't do that. So all the people subscribing to our prints this year have had this postage rate, what's the word? It's factored in already. Partly in the actual postage and partly in the print price. So none of our postage rates are going to change on April 1st. So we were on this. But other companies, a shopping cart, maybe you're buying from Awagami Paper or something or whatever, I don't know, whatever. They may just all of a sudden, April 1st, they're going to implement this. Bang. How do I cut my fingers? I don't cut my fingers. Yeah, the American Post Office situation, it's whatever, to watch from outside. It's funny, not funny in a ha-ha funny way, but boy, oh boy, oh boy. America, it's so, America is such what's the word, bizarre place. We're all bizarre. If you go back 6 months, America, man, the vaccine, whatever, not going to happen. America's flooding, millions of people dying. It's terrible, worst situation in the world. And yet here we are, we blinked our eyes, and 6 months later, and now all Americans are vaccinated, and it's ready, and they're up strong. When they want to do it, they can do it. My God, there's nobody else like that, America. When they decide they're going to do something, man, they do it. Crazy country. Keeps us alive. It's, of course, vastly our biggest market. I forget the number. I can't remember the last time we worked it out. It was like 60% of our business goes to the US of A or something. I can't remember. It's a glorious place, but my God, talk about paradoxes. The same as Japan. Getting closer now. How's our time? We're okay, we're good. Yeah, Vivid KP's on this, and she turned me on this. Well, Yamamoto has a partnership. Yamamoto is the Black Cat company here in Japan. And the thing is, though, in the fine print in Yamamoto's policy with the Black Cat company and UPS, in the middle of their contract, there's a fine print in there, and there's a list of things that they will not carry. And I don't know what it is. It's dangerous stuff, explosives, batteries, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, they put into that contract bijutsuhin, art products. So the contract between Yamamoto and UPS specifically excludes art products. So the idea is, well, no problem. You just describe it as something else. Instead of saying woodblock print, you call it whatever, colored paper or something. I don't know, whatever. The problem is that these guys know who we are. And all of our business with Black Cat, we're a registered business with them. We don't, the guys just come and pick up and drop off. You see them here, we don't pay. We pay later. It's all arranged through bank transfer, whatever. They know who we are. They know what we do. And after learning from Karen last year about that thing, I went to the office here. Hey, guys, good, let's tie up. You can send our stuff to America. But I said, can't take yours. So thanks for the suggestion, but it doesn't actually help us. We could set up another company here in a different office, people who didn't know what we did, and wrap it in plain brown paper with no descriptions. I don't know. But it still doesn't work, because you've got to make your customs description, for the import at the other end. So there's no way we can get around this, I mean, products have to be declared as what they are, unless you're going to, smuggle stuff. And I don't think I want that trouble. So we can't do that. So maybe Awagami can ship the washi, maybe. I don't know. But we can't ship finished prints by that system to UPS. As to why they did that, we asked the staff here, and they're like, we don't know, nothing to do with us. There's an uncut part there. I missed a part when I was cutting. So we'll do it now. Black van. Oh, this is, that'll be there for a while. The house next door, the restaurant next door, the Kakigoya, the oyster shack next door. The building is owned by Nishinomiya-san. They renovated it 15 years ago. I don't know, before I came. They rebuilt it 15 years ago. He lives upstairs. Second, third, fourth floor are the house, and they rent the ground floor to the oyster shack. They're rebuilding one of their bathrooms upstairs on like the third floor. So this truck and another truck, which may come soon, that's what they're doing. They're pulling out parts, taking out garbage. Yesterday or the day before, they were ripping out old sinks and stuff. How's our time? 9 o'clock. Good, good, good. I don't know if we really need 15 minutes for the show and tell today, because it's a single print. The package we have today has one print inside. And I don't know that it's really going to take up a full 15 minutes. So maybe we should, I can work a little longer here to maybe 9:20 or so. Although I'm not sure, because we've had experience with that person's packaging before. It takes me 5 minutes to get into the package, so I don't know. Okay, there we are. The inside of this is now officially done. The inside. Dave's funky way of doing this, because I started in the middle and worked outwards doing this and that and working up to the border lines, the inside is now done. What's left is I now have to cut the outside side of the border lines, then chisel away the outside, leaving the 2 registration marks. And I got to decide what to do here. Freehand or with a scale. I have to decide which way to go. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to scratch a line with a scale and then cut it. And don't diss me here, because I'm using a tool here. All the old guys used rulers. Absolutely, they used rulers. And we can't cut this thing, because if I try to jam my knife in here, half of it is against the metal and half of it is against the line. So I'm just going to scratch a line here. Just to show me where to go. Well, I scanned the block before inking it. Hadn't thought about it. I guess I could, whatever. After the carving's finished, I got to wash the stuff off. I could do, I guess we do, I have done sometimes in the past, didn't think about it. Mostly just we're thinking production, you know. But yeah, I could scan this, if I remember. These lines, doing this reminds me of the Poets series. You know, the Poets series, I did 100 designs, 10 years. They were oban, full, they were, you know, what's the size? They were 4 times the surface area of this. So double the distance. And they had straight line border lines, doubled. It was a double line with rounded corners. So for 10 years, every month, I did this, and it was much more difficult because they were a doubled line, like the little yokai print you just saw me doing just now. Okay, there we go. It's marked out. Okay, and now I'm going to drill down. So let's see. Let's get the real tool. And cutting these now, we chatted about this before. There's lines against the grain and with the grain. You know, the grain of the woodblock runs this way up and down. So I'm going to have to cut this border line against the grain and with the grain. Which is more difficult? Well, far and far and far away, the more difficult one is the one with the grain. When you go against the grain, your knife is not being guided by the hard wood. So you go wherever you want and you can cut a straight line. Going with the grain, your knife gets guided by the wood. And because wood grain runs like this, your knife tends to get pulled or pushed in different directions. So to keep accuracy, the cross grain is much more accurate. But because the wood grain runs this way, these lines are stronger. They don't break off. These ones, there's no strength with the wood side by side, so these will really tend to chip off. So the approach is completely different. The end grain one here, very lightly, I'm not cutting full. If I jam this knife in here, it'll pop wood off. Very lightly. Still not much more than a scratch. And now, before the main cutting, do a relief cut. This is absolutely critical. On cross grain, absolutely critical. Doesn't matter where it is. This wood is all going to be taken away. But that relief cut now means that I can now go back here and I can now plunge the knife. I can put the knife in here. Because look at this, look at the stress. The relieved area is moving. And the stress caused by the V of the steel going into the wood is now all on the outside wood, not on the line. The line is just sitting there saying, Could have zoomed in. Can I move the grain to be a 45-degree angle? No, the way Japanese wood blocks work is the wood grain has to run horizontally on your bench. Whatever, long story short, I don't know. The wood grain here on any of our blocks runs this way. If it's a vertically oriented print, it will be sideways on the carver's bench. If it was a landscape, it would be normal orientation. When we come time to print it, we get our paper, of course, this. And paper also has a grain. So the grain of the paper will be this way. So when we're rubbing with our tool, the tool runs along the grain of the paper. Expansion of wood all happens this way. And expansion of paper all happens this way. So you can't mix and match. We couldn't have wood grain running this way and paper grain running this way. Your registration would be a nightmare. All got to match. Okay, if you put the relief, it's a good question. This is pearl, blah, blah, blah. If we put the relief cut in first, let's do this out here. If I put the relief cut in first, and then try and carve the real line, because the relief cut is there now, it won't follow the line. The knife wants to go this way towards the relief cut. That's why I scratched it in first. On a blank piece of wood with no relief cut, I'm completely free to draw my line straight because there's no unbalance left and right. So put the position in first, then the relief cut, and now take away your wood. That's absolutely why I scratched that in first. Scratched plus this. The knife now is being guided by that scratch, so I'm okay to get a straight line. But if the relief was there, the knife would want to move to the right-hand side. I'd never, ever, ever be able to get it correct. Now that we've basically cut, the line is decided. Now the relief cut. This can be quite deep, it doesn't matter, it's not going to break anything. Remember the last show and tell, I had all those early prints of mine and they were all the pops and so many broken lines everywhere. It's because I didn't know anything about this. Now we can cut deeper. The knife wants to move to the right hand side, but it's okay because the line is clearly defined by the earlier cut. And you can see this, right? All the stress is going on the outside piece. Nothing on the retained wood. Now this next would really be the wide chisels, but let's pop this out just so you can see what's going on here. Let me take this away. Let's pop out the relief V. You can see now there's still junk in the bottom, but there's our wood. We've got our retained wood, which is really strong. It's got a good bevel on both sides and no chance of chipping, popping, even though it's cross grain. Let's get rid of the junk here. We can't get any closer, I guess. I don't know. There we are. Good, strong. It's a dike, a flat top and angled sides. It doesn't get any stronger than that. That'll last 100 years. It's okay. There's no chance of it popping or chipping. In the bottom now it's just garbage, it just falls out. Good. Classic. So that's the end grain one. The end grain one, as I said, it's easier to cut straight, but it's more dangerous about chipping and popping off. Here we are, end grain one, end grain two. Now just the stuff inside just falls away. So those poets blocks, they double line all the way around every old band print. My God. In the earlier ones, there's chips and pops everywhere. I sure learned lots about fixing. Okay. Let's move on. Put the wood away. We can't quite see it. There's a truck just down, there's a truck still in the side street. The next corner is where the cans and bottles are dropped. And that's a city truck picking up, they pick up cans, bottles, and cardboard. Okay, as I said, déjà vu. What we're seeing, of course, it's simply the same seller. The other day, 2 weeks ago or so, I opened a package from, this should be just peeling off, yeah, it's the famous green tape. I opened a package with a bunch of Surimono prints, and remember there were 24 Surimono prints. And it's from the same seller, so. Now this person has some good stuff. It's not all in the best condition. Oh, last time it was folded. Once we got inside, remember there was a pull tab. He hasn't done it this time. No pull tab. Here we go. It's exactly the same wrapping, the same folding system, the same paper, the same effort. Remember? No pull tabs. I wonder if there's more than one person working there, maybe, I guess. That's probably what happened. There's different staff members working there. And somebody just adds that extra little touch to this, and somebody doesn't. It's exactly the same. Over we go. Oh, pull tabs. I love this tape. We want to reuse this stuff. You know, I may be just wasting time with it, but whatever. You can. Sorry about the noise in the microphone. We want to reuse as much packing tape as we can. Noisy, ready? Oh. It's more fun than the prints. Here we go. Exactly the same as last time. Okay, we should talk about the print. What's inside here, as I mentioned? This is not a collection of Surimono prints. This is a single print. It's a single print. And it was published by Matsuki, Jock, are you here today? Matsuki Heikichi. No, Matsu. Oh, I've forgotten the name. I'm getting old. I'm getting old. It's printed on the print. We'll see it. And it's designed by the Meiji era illustrator Yamamoto Shōun. And here, you can start searching. If I pop in a Japanese phrase here, you can't read it, but what this says is Ima Sugata. There's the name of the print series. If you search for Ima Sugata by Shōun is the person's name. Same thing happened. We opened it last time and there's nothing inside. Exactly the same thing. And we have a print to die for today. We have a print to die for. The last stage is always sellotape. Okay, we have a print from, somebody can find the details. It's maybe around 1900. It could be 1895 or 1900 or 1905, somewhere around there. Matsuki Heikichi. I remember now. Matsuki Heikichi. The series is Ima Sugata. It's in Japanese. It could be this way. It could be typed Ima Sugata. It could also be written that way. And well, we've got a date on it. It's Sanju Kyunen, Meiji 39, December the 10th, or December the 15th. That's the exact date this thing was published. And this series is fantastic. This series is fantastic. These are expensive. We talk about sometimes on the show and tell, I got this for $5, got this for $10. No way. If this had been in prime condition, It's not. This would easily in the market go for $1,000, not $1,000 yet, $1,000 and up. And this is one of the rarer ones in the series. So if Dave, the valuer here, was doing this, if this had been in nice condition, this would be a $1,200 item. Absolutely. I didn't pay that much for it because it is, because it's not in perfect condition. Do we find any information on it? I don't think it's coffee. I think it's soy sauce. I don't know. I mean, back in this time, there's nobody drinking coffee in Japan back in those days. But there are lots of people using soy sauce for everything. So I don't know. I don't think it's coffee. I don't know what it is. But this print, this series, oh my God. I can't afford these myself. I can't afford to collect $1,200 prints. That's 3 times what I earn every month. I can't afford that. Now, can we get on this? How can we get close up here? Tell you what, let's, first let's just try zooming. The series is Ima Sugata, which means modern, Sugata means shape, the view of somebody. So it means modern, loosely translated, modern fashions or contemporary beauties or whatever, something like this. Contemporary meaning, of course, the time. And it's full of embossed waves, embossment. It's got metallic pigments here and there. And the carving, the eyes. So this particular one is really, really rare. The series seems to have been published. It wasn't like a boxed set. They just did one. Oh, it was nice. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. And this one I have never, ever seen before. And I can't find it anywhere in collections online. And I mean, this is, look at my finger here. I mean, this is, the longer the hairs get, the more difficult it is to get them. And they're all curved at the end. This is a wood block print. A wood block print. Oh, there's an under row of hairs. There's hairs carved here. Look at the quality of that gradation. I mean, come on. Come on. There's Shōmenzuri on the top here. Shōmenzuri, front rubbing. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this for you. What looks to you there like black. Let me try and move this around till we get the angle. Got it? Look at this. There's an extra block in there. It's in the back here as well. And the design, what they've done, the whole series works the same way. There is the picture itself of the beauty dressed up well, and then it seems to be, the paper seems to be pasted onto a background. And the background is done in a much more expressive, what's the word, I don't know, painterly style. I mean, this is also woodblock print, but how many blocks? It's light gray, dark gray, medium gray, gradation, scratch carving. The series is hugely attractive, and they are justifiably expensive. Like I said, if this was in good condition, no question, it would start somewhere around 120,000 yen, about $1,200. But what's it worth now because of this stain? I don't know. We have to decide whether to keep it ourselves, put it into the shop, and how much to price it at. I don't know. I'm of two minds. The price should come down because of the stain, but also it is extremely rare item. Yamamoto Shōun. I think here, there's a link. ちょっと待ってください。Can I fix the stain? Almost certainly no. No. I mean, if we were talking about, an $8 million painting or something, you can invest weeks of effort and fluorescent X-rays and whatever you need to do to sort of get in there at a microbiological level. But the chance of damaging this thing is just as great. And the print itself, I said, it's worth, $1,200, but that's one day's consulting fee for a conservator, It doesn't match. So for no, we're just going to leave it alone. We're just going to leave it alone. Also, too, it's unfortunate, the kind of red pigment they used here, this is a water-soluble pigment. This is not a print that I can wash. If it had been different pigments, more like the ukiyo-e prints, then I could have washed this and maybe some of the stain would have come out. But this pigment is water-soluble. And if I put this in water, we would get pink water. So I don't know. So for me, whether we'll keep it or sell it on, I don't know. Here's the colophon information to show. As I said, it's Matsuki Heikichi. Matsuki Heikichi, and there's our date. It's Meiji 39, the 12th month, and the 15th day. Did somebody give me the date? Did somebody, John or somebody, did you look it up? I don't know Meiji 39 in my mind here. Did somebody do it already? 1906. Okay, fair enough. So piece of paper is about 115 years old. And a more spectacular creation you will never see. This is the peak. For Japanese woodblock printmaking, this is the absolute peak of technical ability. And there's two publishers. One is Matsuki Heikichi, the other one is Akiyama Buemo. And they together put out a stunning, stunning series of prints. We have, what is it, a crane motif in there? Is there a crane in there? Just look at this carving too, the delicacy. And, it's over and above the delicacy. It's the quality of the lines. You saw me hacking away at a block a minute ago. Look at the way this is carved. You can see, I don't have my knife here. Where am I? It's not just a shape hacked out. It's an imitation of a brush stroke. And there's a little, do you see the little indentation here where the knife came, the brush would have come down, flattened out, and then went back up. So this side is a curve, and this side has a jog with a brush. And every single one of these lines, every single one is a glorious capture of the original brush stroke. Every one. Where's the camera? I can't find the camera. Here. Every single line. They start at a width, they swell, and they taper back down. There was nothing like this made anywhere else on the planet, anywhere. Look at this. If you don't get this, then that's fine. You're in the wrong place, that's fine. But the line that goes around here, again, in words, it swells up, it cuts down, the brush reverses and pulls up, and there's a tint on the corner, and it comes up to invisibility. Carving them is just such a pleasure, and seeing them is such a pleasure. Okay, anyway, there we are. So I'm out of here now. Nice. Good, very happy to get this. Okay, it's Thursday morning. I'll be back here in 2 more days, and really at the moment I haven't the slightest clue what job I'll be doing here on the stream on Saturday. Friday night for you, Saturday morning for me. It might still be that I'm just hacking away at the last remnants of this block going on the outside, or maybe we'll have done some color separations. I don't have a clue what we'll be doing. I'll be doing something. Hey, thanks for coming. I actually got some work done today. I really got some good work done here today. I think we got some good chat. I'll read the news at noon. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a couple more days. Bye for now. Should I put it the outside or leave this woman? Let's leave this woman. Let's leave this. Yeah, nice. Okay, bye for now. See you in a couple more days.